What's a podcast? I like your show.
How did I get here? Welcome to the Shipe Sports Show.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Shipe Sports Talk Show. I am your host, Matthew Shipe, joined always by my co-host and producer, Paul.
How's it going, Matt?
Your
frame is stuck again. I don't know why.
That's fine. We'll work it out. Join in front of me, always, my co-host, Chris.
Good evening, everybody.
That is a weird...
The coach is out. He had a golf tournament today. But today we do have a special guest joining us all the way from Philly, which is right up 95, maybe about 3 hours. Mr. Joe, he's a pretty big guy on YouTube for EA Sports. He does NHL Live videos. That's
awesome.
He does a Philadelphia Flyer podcast. We brought him in to help us break down the Capitals and Flyers game. So, Joe, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much for having me, guys.
You can check out Joe on Twitter at BoJoeKo, and you can also check his YouTube at BoJoeKo. Very informal, if you want to learn about some NHL stuff. He does a great podcast. I think his Be the GM mode I find very interesting. I don't know much about the Flyers, or I'm not that big into hockey, so just watching that podcast that you do for that, Joe, is actually kind of interesting to watch on what you would do as a GM.
Yeah, it's a really interactive series. I love doing that stuff.
Yeah. So speaking of acting like a coach, so let's get your perspective from the Philadelphia Flyers for this playoff game against the Capitals. Coming in as a Flyers fan, what are your initial thoughts on this game as you guys drew the 8th seed against the President's Cup Trophy winner Capitals?
Well, the funny thing about that, Matt, is if you would have asked me that question maybe a couple of days ago, maybe 2 or 3 days ago, I would have given you a completely different scenario. But just recently, a very sad certain event happened for a lot of Philadelphia Flyers fans, and the whole organization happened.
That's
the
true.
Passing of the chairman and the founder of the organization, Ed Schneider, unfortunately lost his fight with cancer at 83 years old. And it's a really sad loss for the entire organization. My condolences obviously go out to the entire organization and his family. But that is kind of what the motivation right now for the Philadelphia Flyers would be at this current moment. But like I said, if you asked me 2 or 3 days ago, mainly the Flyers had no expectations of making the playoffs in this year at all. They were supposed to be a rebuilding kind of team where they would be bringing their rookies in at some point in the season, bringing up the young guys, like a lot of really good defensive prospects that the Flyers have in their system. They were meant to be brought up this year at some point, but it didn't happen because a certain Ghost Bear coming up to the Flyers team around November completely changed the way this Flyers team could play around. And with his call up to the team, it basically just gave the entire Flyers team a revival of some kind of sorts. And they pushed throughout the entire months through the All-Star break. No trades made at the trade deadline. And then they just kept continuing to push and push and push. And, luck got their way and made it into the 8th seed to go up against your Washington Capitals.
Yeah, I saw you do, your Stanley Cup prediction. You said, this was almost like a rebuilding year for you guys, and you slide in the 8th seed. What are your thoughts about the Capitals and what the Flyers would have to do to maybe somehow sneak away with this series? Obviously you're going against, Alex Ovechkin, Konechkov, Backstrom, Holtby, the tying Marty Brodeur for the most wins as a goalkeeper. What are your thoughts on what the Flyers need to do to sneak away with this series possibly?
Well, they need to, first of all, get Alexander Ovechkin to do what he's been doing for you guys the past couple of playoff runs, which is not acting like the regular Alex Ovechkin that we're used to seeing. There's a good tie-in between Alexander Ovechkin and Marc-Andre Fleury in the playoffs, the goaltender for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Fleury and Ovechkin play amazing in the regular season, but when it comes to playoff times, you just see those guys really, really struggle. Now, Washington, I'll give you guys credit. Like you said, Holtby, almost a 50 winner this year. Alexander Ovechkin, almost a 50 goal scorer. You had a rookie, not really a rookie, but a young player like Evgeny Kuznetsov blooming into a really great offensive player this year. Nicholas Backstrom, once again, another great center for you guys. Everything seems to be going your guys' way heading into this playoff series. But the one thing that I did want to mention is, even though the Washington Capitals clinched the President's Trophy, they've been playing not they've been just relaxing for
They've been pretty pedestrian,
Yeah.
right?
They've been pretty pedestrian for like the past 3 or 4 weeks. Once that President's Trophy gets clinched, they're just like, hey, we can kind of relax until the regular season's over. While the Flyers have been playing like playoff style hockey for like the past 5 weeks or so. They've been grinding their goalie Steve Mason every single solitary game until the end of the season to try to make a push for that playoffs.
Exactly, you had to.
But,
And that's pretty much the worst scenario for a Caps fan right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean,
Because you saw last year during the Rangers series for us, when Ovechkin played great against the Rangers, we won those games. All the games we lost, he didn't score, didn't get a point. So that's the problem with Ovechkin. When he scores in the playoffs, we wins. But when he just, what BoJo just mentioned, if he just, doesn't show up, then we're in trouble like any other major team.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I will give you guys credit. Like you said, you guys have you have top 5 for power play this season,
Mm-hmm.
top 5 for penalty kill. And to even put it past the Flyers, Flyers for, however many years you can go back to when the team was created, the Broad Street Bullies, they've always had that mentality. That's not their mentality anymore. They're not the physical type of Flyers team that you're accustomed to going up against. You're still going to go up against the Wayne Simmonses, the Ryan Whites, the Radko Gudas, those type of players that will, throw the body around, try to get into their heads, throw checks and all that fun stuff. They're not that kind of team anymore. They're trying to get away from that because that style of hockey really doesn't work all too much anymore. But if you look at the Capitals are that kind of physical team. I mean, look at Tom Wilson, for example. That guy, as much as I hate him, he does throw, the occasional questionable cheap shot every now and then with some of his body checks. But, the Washington Capitals are a much more physical type of team this year. And I believe that's going to be one really good advantage that the Caps are going to have over the Flyers. In addition to the fact that the Flyers defense is not good at all, with the exception of Shane Gostisbehere, rookie this year. There's nothing intimidating that this Washington Capitals team should face up against this Flyers defense at all.
Now I have one question for you. Your leading goal scorer is Wayne Simmons, 32 goals this year, but he's also leading the team in penalty minutes. Does that concern you at all that your top goal scorer is also your top penalty guy, and he spends so much time in the box rather than on the ice and scoring goals? Is that a concern for you guys at all?
I wouldn't say that's a concern for me for the team at all, because Wayne Simmons, most of his penalty minutes are, if you saw at the beginning of the season, Wayne Simmons is 100% a team player. He's a guy that sticks up for his teammates, even though many team players or fans of other teams consider him a dirty type player. I've watched Wayne Simmons now for the past 4 or 5 years, however long he's been on this Flyers team. He's not a dirty player. He's just a player that sticks up for his teammates 100%. I don't see that as a concern at all. I have a more concern with our defense prior to taking penalties rather than Wayne Simmons is, because I said our defense is not good. It's also very old. You have Mark Streit, who's 38 years old. You have Nick Schultz, who's around 33, I believe. And then once you get past that, it's a bunch of mediocre 6th or 7th type of defensemen on the team.
Okay.
So I'm really just concerned about them trying to take penalties rather than our offensive guys taking penalties.
Yeah, and I think that the statistics really show that, being the goal differential for the Flyers is -4 for the season, and the Caps are at +59. I mean, that's where I see exactly what you're talking about, is the defense is just not there.
Because they have a very bad tendency of when they get a lead, when they have them, they don't press for the puck anymore. They play a whole collapsing type of defense, a 1-4 setup, if you will. They have one guy forechecking in the zone. They have all 4 guys just sitting back, waiting for the team to enter the zone. And that's where the Washington Capitals have excelled in the season series over the Flyers this year. So the season series between us went, I believe, 2-0-2, where you guys won 2, Flyers won 2, and both the wins I believe the Flyers had were in
Overtime
or a shootout.
Yep.
So, but if you go into in-depth stats between the Flyers and the Capitals have won not mainly won, I would say entering the offensive zone, the Capitals have exceeded that over the Flyers tremendously this season. The Flyers do a good job of trying to track the puck and fight for the puck when it's loose in the neutral zone. But when the Caps have the puck and they're going into the neutral zone, almost, I believe the stat was, I think, a 70 percentile, the Washington Capitals getting cleanly into the zone of the Flyers.
All right, now I want to talk about your goaltending situation. Obviously, you said Steve Mason, playing all the way down the stretch to help you guys get in the playoffs. Now, if you see him struggle the first two games, do you see them do a goalie change to I'm gonna butcher his name, Neuwerf? Neuwerf, thank you. He's a former Capital.
Oh yeah, Neuwer, that's right.
Former Capital player himself. Do you see them maybe switching? Maybe noticing maybe Mason some fatigue from what he did towards the end of the season, or do you see them just riding Mason all the way through the first round of the playoffs?
Personally, for me, I could see them just sticking with Mason through the whole thing, through thick and thin. Because his playoff numbers are actually not too bad, even though he only played 4 games versus that Rangers series, I believe, 2 years ago, where he went 2-2, had a save percentage around .95, which is actually phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see them situation, whatever. I think they're going to run with Stevie May. He's got the Flyers here through this whole stretch of it out, but I could possibly see it. Mason does have a tendency to I wouldn't say he gets injured a lot, but he has a knack for really injuring himself at really what's the word I'm looking for? Really important times of the game. He's had a back problem, he's had some knee problems, so I could see it possibly happening. And if Neuwirth does come in, he did get that one game in coming back from injury against the New York Islanders. He did win that game, but still, I see them riding with Steve Mason all the way through. But I believe it is possible that fatigue factor could come into play, while Holtby is obviously 100% for you guys.
Well, let's talk about Holtby. He went through, probably played, I think, probably about 80% of the games. Do you think there's any fatigue for him throughout the season as a goalkeeper? Obviously, he got the 48 wins tying Marty Brodeur. Do you see any fatigue with Holtby in the playoffs? Because you saw, last year when we played, I'm blanking out, the guy from the Rangers. Lundqvist. You saw after, the grueling series with us, the Lightning pretty much had their way with him. Do you see, Holtby, the same thing with Holtby, the whole season where he, playing 80%, 90% of the time, do you see any fatigue with him in the playoffs against the Flyers at all?
I personally don't.
Yeah, I don't think
because
so.
I wouldn't see that because
I think the Lightning were a whole different team. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, exactly. The Lightning were a much younger and quicker team. The Lightning are one of, if not the fastest skating team in the entire NHL with some of their players. So that could possibly be the reason, because they're just entering the zone so quickly, peppering Holtby with shots. That could obviously fatigue him out. But I don't see that being a problem for a Flyers team that doesn't struggle to get offensive zone time. When they do get the puck in the offensive zone, they do tend to cycle it a lot, but most of their shot attempts, especially from their defense, gets blocked a lot. So Holtby shouldn't be facing that too many shots, because I think the Flyers were around. They do take a lot of shots on net. I think they're upwards in the NHL of taking one of the most shots on net, but most of those shots do end up getting blocked nonetheless. But I think you need to ride with Holtby 100%, because your Grubauer is a decent backup, but you can't go to Philip Grubauer in a playoff series like this.
No, if I were to take one of the backups, if I were to take one of the backups between our backup and the Flyers backup, I'd definitely take Neuwirth.
No.
I definitely would.
Yeah, you have to ride Holtby 100%, fatigue or not. I don't see it being a factor for him. I think he's going to turn it up, especially with the whole Washington Capitals team. I think they're going to turn it up in the playoffs, and that's why, even though I'm going to be cheering for the Flyers, I do see the Capitals taking the series in maybe 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, I mean, I saw your little prediction that you did online. You can go watch his Stanley Cup prediction on his YouTube page. He has the Capitals actually going to the finals, losing to the Dallas Stars, which personally I agree with you, BoJo, in your video that that would be a very interesting series. But in terms of Flyers, how do you stop someone like Ovechkin, Kunechkov, Backstrom, that whole front, top 3 players? How do you go about doing that? You're saying your defense is old and everything. How do they go about stopping these 3 guys from doing what they do best?
They need to stop them from getting into the neutral zone. That's the one thing that the Flyers did right in that final game between the Caps. If you watch that final regular season matchup between the Flyers and the Capitals, Caps had a very, very slow first 2 periods where the Flyers, for some reason, they just prevented the Capitals from entering the neutral zone all too much. Capitals like to rush the puck. They dump it and then they rush it. Same thing with most teams. They try to dump the puck in, rush for the puck, but the Capitals do it extremely, extremely well, where they get over the red line, dump that puck in. They have 2 or 3 guys pursuing that puck really, really quickly, and that's why they get a lot of shots generated on net. So they need to stop the neutral zone entrance of the Washington Capitals and shutting down those those top players, and don't give them power plays. Stay disciplined. You cannot let guys like Ovechkin and Kuznetsov have time on the power play. They will kill you.
Well, Konechkov can friggin' kill you just from the face-off itself outside the zone when all those goals he scored just from a face-off.
Exactly. But as I mentioned before, if you guys can get through this series and then take on the winner for Pittsburgh and the New York Rangers, I see you guys have an easy trip to the Stanley Cup Finals, because any team in that bottom bracket, whether it be the Islanders, the Red Wings, the Lightning, or the Florida Panthers, any four of those teams the Washington Capitals can beat without any problem.
All right, I have one question for you now. Before, let's say the Flyers do advance, how far do you see your team getting in the playoffs? Let's say you guys somehow you come out, you beat the Capitals. Do you see your team beating, Pittsburgh or the Rangers advancing to the conference finals?
If it's against the Rangers, there might be a little bit of difficulty there, because the Flyers always usually do have some problems with the Rangers. But if it's against Pittsburgh, I mean, you've seen the Flyers-Penguins playoff history in the past.
Yeah.
Those games are some of the most exciting playoff hockey games to watch, without
Definitely.
a doubt. And no matter how either team played in the regular season, they amp it up to a whole nother level. There's fights. There's like cheap shots. There's chirping everywhere. It's one of the most exciting series to watch in hockey, without any doubts. But if they could get, I don't know, the way the Flyers played against Pittsburgh all year, it would be difficult to get by them as well. But Pittsburgh's dealing with some injuries. The Rangers are dealing with some injuries. I mean, anything's possible. That's the one thing about the NHL playoffs, is anything is possible. Throw the regular season out the window. Anything can happen in the playoffs.
That's the scary part. I mean, the Capitals have a history of doing pretty well, getting everybody on board and excited to watch it, and then just like pretty much any other Washington area team, they kind of deflate in the playoffs or anything like that. So hopefully, I mean, if this is the season, it seems like that they will hopefully advance, but you kind of have that little gut feeling, and being a Caps fan, just saying, okay, well, is history going to repeat itself? Or
Yeah,
what's
you just remember last year's, we were up 3-1 against the Rangers, and boom,
It was
4 games later, we're out.
So I was also hearing that they were actually thinking about resting some of the players. I mean, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
There's a good question for Bojo. Resting the players towards the end, the last couple of games. I mean, what did you think about that? Do you think that's going to work against the Capitals, or having a healthy team may help them?
Well, Flyers rested some players too, so I don't know if that'll give you guys a little bit of an extra incentive there too. But since that Flyers and Islanders game meant nothing either, except for the Islanders, and the Islanders went and blew that game for obvious reasons, because they would rather play the Panthers rather than the Pittsburgh Penguins. So,
see, we helped out Anaheim because they wanted to win the game against us to have, I think, a better seeding for them. So they were happy we rested players, I believe.
Yeah, they ended up playing the Predators instead of, I think, the San Jose Sharks. So that ended up for both teams. But yeah, I don't see rest as having too big of an impact on the team. It just gives you an extra day to just rest out there, but then you're right back at work, back at practicing like the next day or two, getting your skates under you once again.
Mm-hmm. All right, one question before we let you go. If you're Brandon Holtby, are you a little upset that they didn't let you play the final game for the record, or are you happy with just tying Brodeur? I mean, how do you think he felt about that?
Me personally, I'd be a little bit pissed off, but I think for Holtby, I feel like he's such a team player. I feel like that tying a great one, like top 5 goaltenders of all time, Martin Brodeur, for wins this year. Capitals have a phenomenal season. I think that should be his focus on the mindset right now. Records are always fun to break and all that stuff, but your eye is on Lord Stanley's Cup, and that's what he should be focused on right now.
Have they come out with anything saying that he was upset or something? I haven't heard anything.
They're saying that he wasn't, that he, they've already talked about this before the record even came up, that they knew what they were going to do, but you never know in the back of his mind. He probably wanted the record for himself.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if, unless it's like a pretty tremendous record, like that they're probably more focused on, I don't know if they pay attention too much to what's going on if it's the record. You know what I mean? So it probably doesn't even.
He's young. He'll have
too much.
He's young. He'll have another chance at it.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. I mean, Bojo's right. He has his eyes on the prize, and whatever it takes to get there, that's the only thing he's concerned about right now, I think.
It's like winning the MVP of the league, but it means nothing if
Choking in the Super Bowl.
if you can't get to the Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, Bojo, thank you for joining us today. We greatly appreciate having you on to talk some playoff hockey. Hopefully we can get you back on again. Maybe talk some. I know a little sour for you, but maybe some Philadelphia baseball, or maybe get you on for some Eagles talk.
If we're talking about Phillies baseball, I'll start out strong, and then I'll blow it like the back end of our bullpen does.
Or maybe we'll get you on to talk maybe some Eagles later on in the when football season comes around. Maybe that'll be a little bit better.
Oh, jeez. But just bring me back on for hockey. I can't deal with anything.
Yeah, right.
Sports at these times. Let me have my pride with this with our hockey team. Everything else is just terrible.
Well, I avoided the whole basketball talk for you.
We have a basketball team.
Exactly.
Pretty sure Villanova.
I was just about to say.
Could beat the 76ers.
I say congrats to Villanova. Your home area team right there with the NCAA championship last second win. That was pretty big.
Yeah, I went to. Well, I could care less about the Nova.
Give you something for the Philly area, though.
That's awesome.
It's always good to.
Well, Bojo, go ahead and if you have anything to throw out there, anything you want to
plug away,
go for it.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So obviously, just the Twitter handle, obviously at BoJoeKo, YouTube channel www.youtube.com/BoJoeKo. Everything pretty much on there. Daily content, hockey, Flyers stuff. It's getting playoff time right now, so there's going to be a lot of playoff talk on the channel for the next couple of weeks or so. So it should be some very interesting type of stuff. Definitely should go and check it out.
Yeah, it's I was taking a look at it earlier today and everything, and you do some really, really good content stuff. So if you now know who Bojo is, if you don't know already, so please go give him
definitely all the hockey fans out
and
there.
The like and everything like that. He has some really good content.
And I believe he also, for anyone who plays NHL Live, I believe you do giveaways, don't you, for NHL Live from EA Sports?
Yeah, live people who do NHL YouTube and who stream it on Twitch and fun things like that. A lot of us are sponsored by the guys at EA Sports, so we do a lot of daily giveaways and weekly giveaways and all that kind of stuff. So if you have the NHL game, follow me on Twitter. Never know when a giveaway might pop up.
Cool.
Right,
awesome.
Well, thanks again for joining us, Bojo, and we'll get you back on for some more hockey talk.
Thank you guys so much. Very much appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Bojo. Have a good one. We'll talk to you soon, hopefully.
All right,
so
thanks.
long.
All right, bye. All right, that was Bojo. He was awesome, man. That's really good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once again, that was Bojo, one of my buddies from Philly. You can follow him on Twitter at BoJoeKo, on YouTube, as he said, BoJoeKo, for all your NHL and Philadelphia Flyers needs.
Yeah, give him a follow on Twitter. Make sure you smash his subscribe button. Give him likes. Great dude, for sure.
Yeah. All right, so that was our Capitals Flyers preview. But before
we got his predictions. We still need to go to ours.
I was about to do that. I got the Capitals 4-1. Okay. I see us maybe dropping one in Philly, but that's about it.
All right. I can see that.
At first, I thought that's exactly what it was going to be, 4-1. But, once that news of their owner dying, just yesterday, I think that's just going to kick them into a whole nother level. So I think this is going to go 6. I think we're going to have to win in 6. But I hope we win in 5. I think that's more realistic, but I think 6 is not going to be hard to imagine.
Yeah. Paul, what do you
think, Paul?
So, I think I don't know, man. Every single day, it's a different thing.
Don't the Caps just scare you so much? I have no trust in them. I really don't. I could literally see us losing in the first round, 100%. Just because I have no trust in the Capitals.
The thing is, I think that okay. So I'm gonna say that they're gonna drop one also.
Yeah.
One maybe. Yeah. I think they're gonna drop one, and it might even be the first one.
We really should win this. There should be no question that we win this series. But it's the Capitals. And
stop it.
Like I said, all I think about is last year we were up 3-1 against the Rangers and we lose it in 7. So I have no trust in the Capitals. But I will be very happy to see them win. But then, look who's next. It's either the Rangers or the Penguins. And again,
the two teams we don't want to face.
Again, the two teams that we just can't seem to beat in the playoffs. And I don't know.
Yeah, the history with them is very scary.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I actually have a feeling that this is going to be the year. This is going to be
if it's going to happen, it's going to happen right now.
It has to be,
agree.
right?
I agree 100%.
All the chips are in at this point. Mm-hmm. I mean, you got a humongous season, huge season. You know, they were in contention for the breaking the record of most wins or something like that, or the
I don't know how.
Yeah, I think it was like wins or points, but they got slouched at the end as always.
Yeah,
what we just said.
But which is, you know, who knows? I mean, I think. At least they kind of slowed down a little bit during the season, so you know hopefully they're going to be on the upswing entering into the playoffs. So
yeah, let's hope. Let's hope. That's all we can do is hope that this is the year. This is the year.
First, before we get going, I want to congratulate. I didn't get to do this last time. Christian Rivera, our co-host, who hopefully will be back once school's out for the summer, for winning the bracket challenge. He won the Shipe Sports Talk bracket challenge. He had Villanova going the whole way.
Did he really?
Yes. So he won.
No way.
Yeah, you said that 2 weeks ago. You congratulated him.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
Was he over 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Are you sure?
Okay, maybe you said that he was going to win.
I said he was probably going to win, but I don't think I said.
All right. Well, congrats, Christian.
Yeah.
I was in first up until the very last game.
Well, I told you, Anthony from that I do with the OT3 podcast. He was pissed because he had the most wins, but I told him he goes by points through the rounds. He's like, "That's bullcrap. I had the most, picked them right."
Wait, points by the rounds?
Yeah, like every round the points increase. So he had the most correct, but they were all in the early rounds.
Is that the way it all?
Yeah,
of them
yeah.
work?
Mostly is how they all go.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. That sounds kind of shysty to me.
It's a little shady.
I'm sure he'll say the same thing.
You know, I heard that there was. Did you read the article about that girl who filled out like the young girl? I think she was like 12 or 13 or something like that. Filled out a bracket, and she was like in the 80th percentile or something.
I don't think they can pay them, can they, or give them the money?
No, I think it wasn't. I don't think it was like a money competition. I think she filled one out for like, you know, for fun or something like that. Here, I'll look it up while you guys.
I remember hearing one where somebody had a perfect bracket, but they forgot to choose a winner.
That was stupid.
Oh, really?
Like, can you imagine having everything right, but you didn't choose a winner?
Oh my god! Isn't there still a competition, or some really wealthy dude said that he'll give $1 million out to a perfect bracket or something like that?
Yeah, they always have those, but
sure
no one
do.
ever get. You know how hard it is to do a perfect bracket?
It's
to get all the upsets.
Well, it's not impossible.
I
but
highly doubt anyone had a perfect bracket. I mean, guessing Syracuse all that way.
There's millions of
Get out of here.
different ways that could go. There's no way someone's going to get a perfect bracket.
All right, so let's shift from that to now. Let's talk some baseball, the other major thing going around the area. Let's talk the Nationals, who are 4-1. They had the one hiccup against the Marlins on a home opener, a very 2-hour delay. I think halfway through the game.
It was
just
rainy,
muggy. So I mean, they're 4-1. Harper's picking right off where he left off at. But he's stealing more. I think he has 3 steals this year, and he only had 5 last year. But besides Harper, let's talk about the real MVP so far, Daniel Murphy.
Yep.
Daniel Murphy so far, I think he has 2 homers, a triple, double. I think he's won 2 games for us. He won the first game with a double against Atlanta. And last night he came back, helped us out. And then also in the game we lost against the Marlins, we were down 3-0, and he had a 3-run triple in the first to tie it back up there before we lost it. So, I mean, tell you what, this turned out to be a great pickup.
100%.
I've made jokes to Anthony about it. Thank you for the Mets for giving us him. You all didn't want to pay him the money, but right now
he picked up right where he left off last year.
Well, not really. I mean, he struggled in the World Series, but in terms of the other part of the postseason, he's picking up
regular season stats. Yeah.
So, but I mean but Ryan Zimmerman's hitting from the 4 holes. So Harper, Zim, Murphy are getting it done in that your heart of the line, your 3, 4, 5 spot. We get to Jason Worth. Not doing too well right now. I think it's .063 batting average. He needs to step it up there. Espinoza, he's sitting. But the main thing is, we told them they had to stay healthy. And what happened the first game of the year?
Ben Revere
first swing hurt himself.
Yep.
I think they said his return. They don't know when it's going to happen. I think it's oblique muscle is what it was.
Yeah.
And that's something you have to be very
strained his oblique muscle.
It's really something you have to really iffy about because you don't know how long he could be out for or whatnot. So we're seeing what happens. Hopefully he gets healthy because Taylor Taylor's good in the field, but his batting is a little iffy right now.
His
so right
bat is
now,
not really there.
the heart of the Nationals lineup is 2 through 5. They're the only ones really doing something. The other ones are just floating there. I think Ramos is having a good year so far, but he's not cashing tonight. Lobaton is. So
I mean, last night he was 4 for 4. I mean, he had a great night with 2 RBIs.
Yes, I mean Wilson. I mean, I guess that eye surgery is really helping him out.
Yeah.
So
with that oblique, I never heard of that injury before. Is that a rare or pretty common?
I guess for baseball it's common. The problem is what's not common is the return. I mean, you can go from being a couple days to being a couple months, depending on how bad you strain, and you can't rush that bat too quick. You rush bat too quick, you're gonna be right back on the shelf.
Yeah.
In like a couple days. So we'll have to see what goes on there. Obviously, they're gonna monitor that. So a little concerned, but everyone else is healthy, so that's all that matters.
Is that so? Okay, so that's who Taylor replaced.
Yeah, that's who Taylor.
Okay,
and it sucks because Rivera, the first, Rivera, he was only in for one at bat, but it was a pretty good at bat that he had. He was grinding stuff out. So.
Yeah, he's a great player. I would definitely. I mean, Michael Taylor, like you said, the fielding is there, but his hitting is not quite at Revere's level. And I heard that Dusty Baker actually was working with him at batting practice on that. And I think the story that they said was he hit something in the outfield, and it was a base hit. Essentially it was great. But Michael Taylor was pissed. Actually, no, I'm sorry. He hit a grounder. And it was definitely a base hit. And he was pissed. Michael Taylor was pissed. And Dusty Baker said, no, don't get pissed. Like, that's a base hit. You're on base. Relax. You know what I mean? Don't try to go for a home run every time. If you get on base, that's helping the team.
Yep.
So that's good managing right there, I think.
Oh, yeah. I think Dusty's going to be not to go against, Matt Williams, but I like Dusty. I think he's more of a player's manager, and they've seen more laid back 100%. This year. More laid back. They're having fun more. I think Williams put too much on them.
Yeah.
I don't think he was laid back as Dusty. And, when they had their run with Davey was laid back as well. So, I mean, that's what it looks like they're going back to him. 4-1's not a bad way to start the season.
No, it's not.
But, it's better than 4-1?
6-0.
6-0, which is the team up 95, which is Baltimore right now.
Also, before we go to Orioles, you got to give Papelbon his credit, man.
2 for 2.
He's 4 for 4.
4 for 4. I'm sorry.
4 for 4, man, in save opportunities.
Real quick, anyone or any National fans that wants to boo Papelbon anymore, go screw yourself.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Go
like,
screw
everyone
yourself.
who said that this guy should have been gone.
Yes, I'm saying that on PG YouTube.
PG. I thought this was R.
It is according to iTunes.
I thought we were having strippers come in, and, on the 50th episode.
Was it on iTunes? What do we have? The little Let's Bleak thing that shows that
explicit.
Do we really?
Yeah, we do.
Oh,
in iTunes,
but go screw yourself.
Somebody must have dropped the F-bomb somewhere.
Oh, I did the second episode. I think I did.
Yeah.
But go screw yourself.
Yeah.
This guy's 4 for 4. And the thing is, I guarantee the first game where he let 2 runners on, people were probably going, I hope he blows this.
Here we go.
I hope he blows this on. Really? You want him to blow this? You want your team to lose and have him blow? You're an idiot. You're not a Nats fan.
Yeah, no, he's shutting people up though.
Good. He needs to. He's a leader in the clubhouse. They said he's picking the music, which that's what leaders do. They get to pick the music.
Yeah.
So he's doing everything that a leader should do. Him and Harper had patched. Look, if Harper didn't want him there, he wouldn't have been there. They would have got rid of him. Obviously,
100%.
They probably asked Harper. Harper said, this guy helps us win. I'm sorry. He's gotten to the promised land. Drew Storen didn't even win the closing job in Toronto. He's a setup man again. So Storen, have fun being a setup man for the rest of your life. You're not a closer, buddy.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, dudes fight, man. Dudes fight all the time,
but
and they're best friends afterwards.
They usually do it in the clubhouse. The problem was they did it on the field.
National TV.
Yeah, that's
the problem.
It was all over the news.
Yeah, but good for him. 4 for 4. Like I said, he's got to have 40 to 50 saves to help this team win, and he's on his way.
Yeah.
Harper's 2 home runs so far. I think he's 1 home run shy of 100 for his career, and he has like a little.
Is it 100 or 500?
100.
100.
Dude, 500 really? He's only been in the league for like 4 years. That's ridiculous.
If you're gonna pay this man $500 million, you better be at 500. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like on the end of his bat, like the little circle at the end, he has 100 on there. So whenever he hits it, at least he can say, that bat will go to the Hall of Fame or whatever, depending on what his career is like.
Oh wow.
So, but let's let's move on to the team up 95, the Baltimore Orioles. 6-0 right now.
Killing it. Mm-hmm.
Killing it. Yesterday, I watched the end of the game yesterday where it was tied 6-6, and Chris Davis just hit that bomb in the top of the ninth to make it, 9-6. They go on to win. They had a little scare in the bottom of the inning, but Machado, 458 so far, 3 home runs.
Yeah, if the season ended right now, he's the MVP.
Yeah, too bad it doesn't
100%.
end after a week.
Yeah, that's true.
But Chris Davis, he's coming on with 7 RBIs, himself. So, and Chris Davis also has 3 home runs, so he's tied with Machado for the home runs. But I mean, the Orioles are looking. Everyone's made fun of me when I picked them to win the East. But right now, yeah, they played the Twins. They're playing Boston or whatnot. But I tell you what, they're looking pretty good. The pitching staff is coming in. Their problem is right now their bullpen's holding them up in their offense. The starting pitching staff has been a little shaky at first, but like we said, they have a great bullpen, and who knows, maybe they can keep this up. And people always like, oh, they're 6-0, don't make it a big deal. It's not like football or something. 6-0, it's pretty good in my opinion to start. The last undefeated team. Some teams I don't think even won yet, or maybe
what was the
only
best?
won.
What's been the best start? Was it 9-0?
I have to go back and look.
I thought I was watching ESPN last night, SportsCenter, and before I went to sleep, and I thought I saw the best was like 9-0 or something like that.
Well, maybe they can.
That's
get
really
it.
not that. I feel like it's got to be more than 9-0.
I feel maybe it is. Maybe that's all it is.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Either way, they're off to a great start, and I think it's going to continue. But we'll see. I mean, the season is way too early to tell what's going to happen.
Yep. So far, so good for both local teams. They're both in first place. The Mets got pounded last night for 8 runs in the second inning. So good job, Marlins. Pound the Mets. Don't pound us. Pound them. Anthony's probably watching this going, that son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I'm going to attack him on Monday.
Okay, completely off topic. I don't know where you're about to go next, but what in the world? Why is Shane now running
Oh, God.
Raw?
This is an OT3 question?
Yeah, this is an OT3 question. I saw you post something yesterday, and I was like,
you want me straight up honest with you?
Yeah.
All right, we're getting a little OT3 topic here for everyone. OT3 is my Monday weekly wrestling podcast. You can see at a special start time for the next couple of weeks at 7:30. It's called Off the Top Turnbuckle podcast. You can find us on Facebook at OT3 Podcast 1 and on YouTube at OT3.
Yeah, Facebook is actually off.
I'm sorry, OT. I'm saying Twitter is at OT3 Podcast 1. So the reason Shane came back a couple weeks ago, came out, ruined Stephanie's little ceremony, whatever the hell it was, and the fans were cheering for him, and then there's been so much social media things about keep Shane on, keep him on. He's fresh, he's new. We're tired of seeing Stephanie, Triple H, Vince in charge of the whole authority storyline. So they're keeping Shane around, which kind of pisses me off. And Anthony, we liked him on, but now that Hell in a Cell he had with Undertaker was completely meaningless.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that was the best. That was the main event.
Yeah.
That main event afterwards was so boring with Roman Reigns. I really wanted to go to sleep. Actually, I wanted to go home and watch The
Well, the
Walking
highlight of
Dead.
that match is when he speared Triple H through the thing. Actually, the best match of that whole weekend you didn't get to see.
Which one?
It was a match on Friday during TakeOver, and it was against a guy named Sami Zayn and this guy from Japan named Nakamura. That was the match of the night. But, yeah, I mean, it was...
Back on top.
But that's why. They're getting better ratings with Shane and better viewership. So I was actually going to shift gears here and talk some Redskins real quick before we move to another topic. Got the draft coming up. Free agency starting to wind down. We lost Pot Roast. What do you think they need in the draft? What should they go after? Should they keep on the secondary, or should we look at defensive tackle?
That's for me. I'd have to choose secondary. I feel like that's our weakest point right now. I mean, last year we had D'Angelo Hall playing safety. I mean, to me, that's just mind blowing why he's playing safety.
Hey, well, we had Mr. Dwight Hitz on. He said, probably wasn't a bad fit for him this late in his career.
I get it. I can understand how that transition. Being older, being wiser, knowing the secondary. Being that hawk in the back, just being able to view everything and make the right play. When the time comes, but still, I really don't know if he's going to be the best safety in the league. I think we still need help in the secondary. I think that's our weakest point.
Well, right now, the projection for a lot of people are the Redskins are either going to take, I think, Fuller out of Virginia Tech, who is cornerback, or Chris Jones, defensive tackle from Mississippi State, to try to, make that line even, younger.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I can see us. For me, it always starts at the line, offensive and defensive line, but I think getting Junior Gillette back was such a big, boost to our line.
Definitely.
I can't wait to see, Gillette.
Hopefully he doesn't tear his Achilles getting a slice of pizza like D'Angelo Hall did.
That's true.
Remember when Hall
he got into an accident, right? And with his pizza, he was getting pizza.
Yeah, and he slipped and retore his Achilles. I think it was like 2 years ago or something.
I don't know. I am so excited to see those edge rushers coming, after quarterbacks this year. But I think, obviously, the defensive line can use help as well, getting a good, nose tackle. But secondary would be my primary thing. But
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Which team's going to take a quarterback first?
Oh.
Cleveland's at number 2.
I was going to say Cleveland.
But they just signed RG3. What do you see?
I still think they take I still think they take a quarterback.
Now, here's the thing. You know Cleveland's taking quarterback. Do you see anyone giving the Titans any kind of offer to jump ahead? You see the Cowboys maybe wanting to get up there. The
well, let me ask you. That's your team. What do you think? You just told me before the show started they have an offer right now.
They have an offer. They haven't said who it's from.
Okay, I was going to ask
Obviously,
you. Obviously,
it's not Cleveland.
Well, yeah, they're not going to move
It's
up
someone
one
that
spot.
wants to jump ahead of Cleveland to possibly either get Carson Wentz or who else they think. The only possibilities could be the Cowboys, who are really stupid and just, I don't know, it's the Cowboys. It's San Francisco, Philly, or the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
All need quarterbacks. The Rams are at 15. Obviously, the Rams, in order if you want the Titans to move down to 15, you're going to have to give up a lot. So you got to think the Rams are probably going to give up their first-round pick this year, and you got to think they may end up giving up their pick next year, the first round next year, plus some second and thirds. They could almost give up a type of deal the Redskins gave them.
Yeah.
Because you're so far back.
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys, Eagles, and 49ers are all in the top 10, so you could see them giving up their first-round pick. Titans just move back, and Titans probably get like a second and a third this year, maybe a third or second next year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if they don't move back, everyone's telling us to pick the guy from Ole Miss, Tunsil, the offensive tackle.
Mm-hmm.
I like the guy from Florida State, Ramsey. I like the defensive back. I think our secondary sucked last year. We were horrible in the passing game.
I mean, did anyone do well?
McCourty was hurt half the year, so no.
I'm just saying.
No, they didn't.
The team is number one draft pick.
And this guy's
They need
Ramsey.
help everywhere.
Yeah, and this guy's Ramsey. He can play safety or cornerback. You can put him wherever you need. And you're in a division now where you're gonna have to go. You have Allen Robinson, Allen Hurns, DeAndre Hopkins.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have, oh my God, why can't I think of anyone for the Colts?
T.Y. Hilton.
T.Y. Hilton. And then you have to go against Andrew Luck, Blake Bortles. You need someone that can shut down these cornerbacks to get your pass rush there, and this is a guy to do it. I mean, who do you have against Hopkins right now that can take him against Tennessee? McCourty is getting old, up there in age. He can't go against him. Allen Robinson and Allen Hurns, those are going to be two of the top probably duos in the NFL for a while now, wide receivers. So I hope the Titans actually go with Ramsey here and get some better help with secondary.
Well, I mean, I see your point. I mean, that all those teams that you just mentioned have a legit number one receiver. But then again, you just put in so much effort and time into your last year's draft pick. You want to kind of follow that up and protect that investment. So I can see why they're going after an offensive.
Well, let me tell you something real quick. You know what's really going to protect them? Having a running back that can run the ball.
Well,
and they've already something. I think that's going to help them.
Again, also getting an offensive tackle, helping DeMarco Murray. Basically, it helps your entire offense. What do you think?
No, I see where you're coming from too, but you can put up all the points you want. Can't stop it. I mean, it's not really going to help you. Yeah. Defense wins championships. We saw that. We saw it in the Super Bowl. It was, this league is high power now with passing, but what won the Super Bowl?
Peyton Manning.
Who won the Super Bowl?
Peyton Manning.
The defense.
The defense definitely won the Super Bowl.
Von Miller won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And also Cam Newton going,
Yeah.
That will be meme. Speaking of meme, that's a good meme, dude. The Michael Jordan crying meme is getting ridiculous now. Speaking of crying, let's move on from football and talk a little bit of golf. And the reason I'm bringing up some crying is Jordan Spieth. Record 7 straight rounds at the Masters going back to last year of holding the lead. Gets to hole 12, that record is gone. Loses with a 4 over on the par 3. He hit a ball, hit a tree, and it rolled back into the water.
Yeah, it was a quadruple bogey.
Yeah,
or something,
and
right?
then went again, chunked his net shot right back in the water, and then he almost made a comeback. I think he birdied 15, which is a par 5. 16 par 3. Had a great shot. Now, this 16 is a par 3. If live members is the one Tiger Woods hit where the ball started up the hill and went all the way down into the hole. But he goes up, misses the birdie putt, and then you have to birdie 17 and 18. And, that's a lot of pressure. So Danny Willett, young guy from England, the first European to win the Masters since 1999. You want to hear a funny story about this guy? Almost didn't go to the Masters this year.
Oh, really?
Because his wife delivered a week early.
Oh, wow.
If his wife had not delivered that day, he wouldn't have gone. He would have stayed in England to be with his wife. So because she delivered early, he got to play, and then look what happens. He wins the Masters.
That's crazy.
But you know what? Spieth is a young kid. I think he's 22. I believe 22, 23. He's going to come back. He's going to fight back. And God forbid anyone who's in the tournament the next time he's in one, because I think he's just going to tear it up. I think this kid is going to be around for a while. He won 2 majors last year. I mean, there's really not the sky's the limit for this kid. Stop all the Nets Tiger Woods talk. I think we can get out of that. I think he's coming in on his own, and I think he's going to be around here for the next 10, 15 years in golf.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, if you're being so young and having all this experience already, he's just going to learn from this. I mean, that's what the best ones do.
That's your question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick, Nationals playing the Braves. Who do you think just got the first base hit for the Nationals? That's not Bryce Harper.
Murphy.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, and that's helping my fantasy team, by the way.
So, but yeah, Spieth's going to be around for a while. He's going to get it going, and he's going to win probably 5 or 7 more majors, I believe.
Yeah.
I got double digits for him for majors.
You think so?
Yep.
All right.
I got double digits. Speaking of double digits, let's talk about Tiger Woods. Skipped out, says he's healthy, but his game is not there. So here's a question for you guys. Paul, I know you watch golf a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Does Tiger ever win another major? With all these young guys go around, can he possibly win another one?
I don't know, man. I think he's done. Oh, you just jelly bean blocked me.
No, but I agree. I really don't. Being so close to the record, how far is he from the record?
I have to look.
I think he's
right there.
He's right there, but
if he never got hurt with all his
after-
knees and everything, I think he would have ended up getting it.
It's
Plus
not-
the
it's-
whole wife thing.
I was gonna say it's not just the injuries; it's mentally
Mental.
he's not there anymore. And I wish him all the best. I really do hope he wins another one. I really do. I remember not even knowing, golf, but Tiger Woods. You know what I mean?
He has
He's-
14 wins, 14 majors.
And what's the record?
I
Isn't
think
it?
it's 18,
Oh,
17 or 18.
Yeah.
There's no way he's gonna catch that. No way. If he wins one more, it's gonna be a fluke. It's gonna be a Spieth dumping three,
Meltdown.
melting down, just dumping into the
He
water.
trips getting out of the golf cart.
Exactly. Yeah.
Busts his ankle.
Exactly.
I mean, just what really hurt last year was he missed a cut in 3 straight majors. I mean, before that he missed the cut, once maybe or something like that. But it's just, it's a sad story. I'm sure they'll make one of those 30 for 30s. Tiger Woods the night his wife caught him.
Right. That's true. But going back to who won the Masters, I remember looking at this article about his brother. Did you see that he was live tweeting the whole thing?
Oh, and made that. What did he joke about?
I mean, he was joking about a bunch of different stuff. But
Yeah.
the one that stood out to me, he's like, how many people can say they took a bath with the person who won the Masters?
Oh, yeah. Well, we can honestly say Tiger Woods, probably a lot of people, a lot of females have said that.
I'm sure, yes. They're out there. 100%.
Too much?
Well, it's just right.
Hey, man, he's just living life.
Yeah.
Living life.
So, all right. So we have that for golf. Manny Pacquiao apparently, we'll go a little boxing, won his final professional fight, as they're saying, won the title from Bradley, which he completely dominated.
Yeah.
I mean, he was dominating Bradley so bad, I think he felt bad for the guy. He just stopped going at it. After the second knockdown, Pacquiao was just like, I'm going to win this. Pacquiao, being a religious guy and all, probably didn't feel like knocking a guy out or whatnot.
It's
But
possible.
Let's talk some UFC.
Wait a minute. Hold on
What?
for a second. You just said he's not going to knock. He's a boxer and he's not going to knock a guy out. And isn't that the whole idea?
I guess, but I think he just felt so laid back there, he felt like he didn't need to, because they literally said he stopped going after Bradley after the second knockdown.
Oh, okay.
Like, he literally just let up. UFC, what do you think about the whole Cormier backing out? Do you think he was really legitimately hurt, or do you think because the whole John Jones, got arrested again, all this other stuff?
No, I think he legitimately was hurt. But it's funny how he said, I'm willing to die for this thing, and then, he pulls out. That's just trash talk. You're trash talking out your ass, basically, and when it push comes to shove, you hurt your ankle, hurt your foot, you pull out. It sucks, because that fight would have or should have made a lot of money for the UFC. A lot. That
you
may
have
have broken
Jones
records.
fighting for the title, and then another intern belt, because they don't give out real belts
Right.
anymore, against a guy St. Pretz. I don't know who this guy is.
Look, he's an up-and-coming guy.
How you say up and
know?
coming? He's 19-7. He's been around for a while.
But up and coming in the UFC.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He's got a good record in the UFC, but he's not. The rivalry is not there. You know what I mean? The entertainment factor is probably not going to be there in terms of DC and Bones Jones. But it's still going to be a good fight. But I still see John Jones being too strong.
Okay, and then we go on. Then we have Nate Diaz facing Conor McGregor, UFC 200, the rematch, and then you have for his belt, McGregor's belt is being in turn off against Freddie Adler, Jose Aldo. What do you think about that? How do you think McGregor had this coming to where he's gonna have to fight either Aldo again or Adler because he won't defend? Do you think McGregor's wrong for not wanting to defend his belt, or do you think he just wants to show that he can beat this guy?
That's exactly what it was. I feel like if he won against Diaz,
this wouldn't happen.
This would not have happened. He would be back in his division, and he would be fighting one of those guys, basically. But that's how it goes. He lost. He lost pretty badly, and he wants to prove to the world and to himself that it was fluke. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think he wants to prove that he's better than Diaz. Now, what happens if you lose to Diaz? Then what?
If you lose, I don't think there's a third.
No, there's not, because it's not going to be like.
No.
Now, the next bid card, I think the bid card before 200 is 198. You have Freespio Windrum fighting Miro Coke. Dude's name. Can you say it?
I'm sorry. Who is it?
Stipe Mokal. I don't know how to say his name.
I don't even know. Oh, Verdum versus Miocic? Is that what it is?
I don't know how you say it. I thought it was like Mirror Talk or something like that. Whatever. For the heavyweight title, and then you got a lot of good undercard fights. You have Anderson Silva against Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall obviously made his name in the Ultimate Fighter, where obviously Chael Sonnen came out and said this guy can beat Silva. So this should be a very entertaining fight. And then you have.
I'm just happy to see Silva back. Really.
And then you have the debut of Chris Cyborg in UFC.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's hoping that she would be fighting Ronda Rousey in the super fight, but obviously that got.
We're not there yet.
We're not there.
We're
but
not there yet.
Did that get canceled as a super fight because Rousey lost? Now.
Yeah. That was really the main. I think that's the really main reason. Because she's not at the top of the charts anymore. She's at the top of the charts in terms of fame. She's probably
movie star now.
Yeah, she's a movie star. She's probably the most widely known female UFC fighter.
Mm-hmm.
But right now she is not at the top of the list. So that's why it's not there. But it could happen. If Cyborg wins, if Rousey wins, it certainly could happen. It should happen. I can't wait.
I'm sure we all want that to happen.
Mm-hmm. But just like, how long did it take for Mayweather Pacquiao to happen? And then once it finally happened, it was
sucky.
It was such a letdown. You know what I mean?
You want to hear a funny story about the night of that fight? I almost died that night.
Why?
The grill.
Oh yeah.
The grill blew up my face that night because
some of your
little
eyebrow hairs
we had
burnt off.
We had a gas grill and the little trigger thing on the to get the fumes going was broken.
Yeah.
So I had the gas turned on and I kept on flicking it. So much gas had finally built up that when it did flick, all in my face. My hair got burned. And
dude, I've never seen your face what in the world just happened?
They're inside and they're like, what the? He's inside of my wife and they're like, what the hell just happened? I'm like,
yeah, because
I just
heard
died.
it was literally like that. I was like,
yeah,
I was like, I just died, I think, came back to life. And after that, I was like, I'm not touching this grill ever. And we finally got it going, and then it just built up again, and it was like, I was like, dude, we got to cook the stuff inside now.
Do you look into the barrel while you're cleaning your gun as well, just to make sure nothing is in there?
Well, no, we tried it out before that, and it was working fine. And then I was like, this is why we need charcoal. But apparently, our HOA doesn't allow charcoal grill for some stupid reason.
What?
Yeah, we're not allowed to have charcoal grill in our
HOAs
development.
for you.
I don't understand
HOAs.
that.
That doesn't make it. Oh, maybe because it's hard to. I mean, you can't just. It's a little bit of a chore to put them out or leave them to
got a hose. I'll just hose it.
Yeah.
That's what fire extinguishers are for. The only way you could screw up with charcoal if you knock it over.
Yeah.
Which is possible, It
and
is. You're on a wood deck.
It is. The idea, but why can't I put it down on my patio? I had a wood deck at my other house in freaking Gaithersburg. Nothing
but that's
happened
different.
Did they tell you
you
not
didn't
to
have an
not
HOA
to use
there?
it?
They told us we can. Yeah.
They saw you do it. And
No. Apparently, it was in the rules or whatever when we got the place.
Right. There's also a difference. It's a townhouse versus what you are coming from. You know what I mean? So it's a difference. But that's why so many people hate HOAs.
Yeah. Well, I thought I could put it down below on the lower part of the deck in that little, cement area, and I was like, no, can't do that.
Well,
but you just do it.
That's what. But my parents like to follow the rules. I told them just do it, and they're like, no, we can't do it. I'm like, who's gonna know?
Yeah.
The HOA agent gonna come by and do a grill inspection?
Yeah, exactly.
No.
You never know who's watching you, though.
Thank God my dad's not here because he'd probably be going off on me right now.
You never know who's watching, dude. All it takes is a neighbor to say something, and then.
Okay, then you know what? I say we haven't used it. Clean the shit out. Be like, oh no, we haven't used it yet. We'll take it back.
I'll just say I know I speak English. Or
I'm just grilling the Corona.
yeah.
Oh gosh.
Just say you didn't read it. Say I didn't know.
I'll take it outside and just do it out back. And what are they gonna say then? I'm off my own property.
There you go.
I want. What I really want to get is because we have like a little bench out front of our house. I want to get like one of those small grills, put some charcoal in, and just sit on my front bench and just flip hot dogs like this.
Yeah.
And just sit there at night. Apparently, can't do that either.
So yeah.
Can't do anything.
I don't know.
Stupid.
I don't know what
do you have
can
an HOH here?
Oh yeah.
I'm
Oh
sure,
yeah, you do. They got me. They almost got my dad towed.
Yeah. There's HOAs all over. I mean,
Everywhere.
Most planned communities have an HOA.
Oh yeah.
Stupid. The worst HOH was my cousin's house. I went inside literally for 5 minutes, came out, and I was like, dude, where's my car? Literally within 5 minutes. I don't know, they probably followed me like, whoop, gone.
Who, Jeffrey?
Yeah, gone after 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Gone. $150 down the drain.
I had my car towed a couple times from there.
Stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So anal. You got anything? Oh, I know you want to talk about something that happened last time we've been on. You want to talk any El Clasico from 2 weeks ago?
Oh yeah, that was interesting. That was the start of the downfall, I think, for Barcelona right now. At least I have no idea what in the world happened, dude. Did you watch it? I know you were at work, right?
I watched it at work.
Yeah. Well,
Verizon Fios app.
huh?
Verizon Fios app.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I don't know. It seemed like the second half they weren't playing. It was like they just didn't care. I don't know what it is.
I don't know.
And then they're only up 2-1.
I was gonna say it should have been
Atletico.
3-1. It should have been that one goal that was called back for Bale. That was not a foul.
Well, also I think some calls also went towards Real Madrid in the bots too against.
Yeah.
But I mean, against Atletico now in the champions, I think they're down 2-1. Unless they play today.
Who are you talking about?
Barca.
No, they're up 2-1.
That's what I meant. They're up 2-1,
Mhm.
which I think you can contribute that to being up a man.
Yeah.
Torres that was stupid. 2 yellow cards that quick. I think that was a little unfair by the ref.
He should have been gone earlier. Actually, there was another foul that he committed that was yellow card worthy.
Neymar also threw not Neymar. Suarez also threw an elbow during that. That was worthy.
It was a little. Suarez, I don't know what. He's a great finisher. He's one of the best.
But he's also one of the dirtiest
in the
players in the game.
But he's also one of the dirtiest.
He's the Ric Flair of.
Unfortunately, I saw a video
soccer.
of where the ref missed a call where Suarez literally kicked the guy in his ass. Like he literally kicked him. The ball was the defender had already cleared the ball, and literally a second later, enough time for him to realize the ball's not there. He literally just kicked.
Well,
and
they play today. They play tomorrow.
They play tomorrow.
And then Real Madrid, you saw them come back to game.
I actually kind of watched that at work, and I hope my work never finds out. But I had it up on my phone as I was doing some work at the end of the day.
I'm so mad about that. I was really hoping they were going to.
Honestly, I thought Wolfsburg was going to come back in overtime, and essentially either come back. All they needed was one goal. Essentially, all they needed was one goal, and to let Ronaldo. Did you see any of the goals by any chance?
I heard about them. I didn't see them. Were they too easy?
The first 2 goals were a little easy, but Ronaldo was being Ronaldo. He was the finisher that he was.
Yeah.
But the third goal, which essentially won the game for them, was a free kick. Ronaldo placed it a little low. It should have hit the wall.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy on the wall turned like this, turned sideways, and that hole for him turning sideways was enough for the ball to go through and get in the net. So Ronaldo did not hit that ball as well as he should have. It normally needs to go over the wall and down, but it's luck, It was very lucky because the hole was literally this big, just enough to get the ball through.
Yeah.
And it went right through.
And then there goes his headset.
My bad.
And then obviously Manchester City won the game today, advanced. So that's your Champions League. So I think that's gonna wrap us up today.
Yeah, that was crazy. I didn't really expect Man City to move past PSG, but
they did.
Having a two goal advantage essentially with 2 tough teams like that is enough to push them through.
All right. So Paul, you ready for your little shmeals?
Spiel.
Shmeals.
Shmeal. I don't know what Shmeal. It's like a combination of Shamrock and Schmeigel from Schmeagol from Lord of the Rings.
All right, go ahead, Paul.
Spiel.
Listen, the Capitals playoff starts on Thursday, by the way. So where are you going to watch it?
I'm
never mind. You're working, right?
But if I wasn't working, I would watch it at BWB, Buffalo Wings and Beer of Germantown, Maryland, where you can always enjoy a great variety of wings, great beer selection. I think they do like a little $5 fireball shots every time the Capitals score. I think, or maybe it's $1. They do some special like that when the Capitals score.
Yeah, they're always doing specials for whatever
they sponsor the show.
The home team
whenever they score or something like that. Well, I was there a couple weeks ago. Food was great.
Yeah, food's always great. You know, I
great.
always enjoy my favorite, the garlic rooster.
Yeah, I was.
Garlic fries are amazing.
I was at Lukey's soccer practice yesterday, and it's down out near there. It's at the
Did you go to
Sportsplex. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go get some wings for dinner. And then I'm like, as soon as I get in the car, my mouth is watering. I can already taste the Cajun, spicy wings or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, yeah. I got to get to the OT3 podcast.
Oh, I'm sorry, Paul.
That's all right.
My fault.
I'll get it again.
But great place, great, Wayne beer selection, great chicken Philly cheesesteak, and great desserts.
I haven't had any of the sandwiches yet.
You got to try the chicken Philly.
But I'm always like,
Philly cheesesteak.
I'm there for wings,
Get like some half wings and then get like a chicken Philly. Just try the chicken Philly one.
Maybe.
Yeah,
next time.
sometimes what we do is we'll get, if it's like Alicia and I, we'll get a sandwich and wings, then we'll split the sandwich and then munch on wings.
Split the wings.
Yeah.
That could work.
Yeah.
That could work, because last time my girlfriend and I both got our own separate wings.
Okay.
So maybe we'll order a plate of wings and order a sandwich. And
hopefully we have a
split it all.
special coming up there soon for our 50th, so we'll have to get that going.
Yeah,
we'll
that'd
see.
be awesome.
We're on episode 46, everyone, so 50's coming up quick.
That's right. So while you're watching us, go ahead and smash that subscribe button on the YouTube channel, on our YouTube channel. Give us likes. It'll help the show out tremendously. Follow us on, on what is it, the Twitter, at Shipe Sports Talk. Follow us on Facebook.
The Twitter.
/Shipe Sports Talk. Email us at shipesportstalk@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the upcoming Caps versus Flyers playoff matchups. And we also want to give a huge shout out to Mr. What was his Twitter thing again?
BoJoeKo, at BoJoeKo.
At BoJoeKo. Follow him on YouTube. Subscribe to his channel. He has super awesome, great content, hockey, NHL content. He also streams NHL on the gaming platforms. And I'm sure you'll enjoy it. So thanks again to Joe. That was awesome. And
Can't wait to rub it in his face when we win.
Oh, Jesus.
We'll have to get him back on.
And then-
Hopefully he'll come back on for sure. Let's see. Did I say everything? Oh, and the website, www.shipesportstalk.com, where you can find all the podcasts.
And also, you can watch me and my other co-host Anthony on OT3 on Monday nights on our special start time of 7:30 for the next couple weeks as we talk everything wrestling, everything related to WWE,
Yep.
TNA, and New Japan.
Yeah.
And for you, Lucha Underground.
That's funny.
Man, I miss Rey Mysterio.
He's in Lucha Underground. That's why I
I
said
know.
it.
I miss him.
All right. I guess for...
Well, for myself, Chris, my awesome producer Paul, that everyone wishes they had.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone have a great evening, and we'll be back live in 2 weeks.
That's right.
Let's go Nationals. Let's go Caps.
See ya.
Go Wizards.
No. We should have talked about them and how horrible they ended the season.
They're so horrible.